And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sway. That's right, welcome back to Sway here on Out of Mind, here on Rumble, and here on YouTube. That's right, welcome to the blog where I give you my absolute honest opinion and I don't give a how you feel about it. And as always, I have a trusty herbal smoke, a trusty Coke, and before I get started, do not forget to hit like, make a comment, hit the subscribe button, press the notification icon so you can be notified of every time that I post a video. And that is only for the YouTube and Rumble. Excuse me. If you're watching this on Out of Mind, subscribe to Out of Mind, 2.com, OOM, the number 2.com. Okay. As I've said before, I'm a part of a new network, okay, the Global Enlightenment Radio Network. We're working out the details on the show and stuff, because right now, because of my schedule, I can't do live streams as much as I would like to. But as soon as that happens, I'll notify you. But in the meantime, there, Odin. He will be playing my videos from my YouTube channel. When he starts doing that, I'll let you guys know. I'll let you guys in on it. All that stuff it's growing. It's a growing process, right? It's a growing process for me. Happy to be part of Out of Mind, 2.com. I'm happy to be part of the Global Enlightenment Radio Network. All that information for Out of Mind, for everybody who's watching on YouTube and Rumble, all of that information for Out of Mind and the Global Enlightenment Radio Network, or GERN, all that information will be put in the description box below. If you're watching this on Out of Mind, you will see all that information below the video. For anybody that wants to help support, me in my work and everything that I do, that information is also below the video in the description box, however you're watching it. Whether it's CashApp, VENMO, PayPal, or you can buy me a coffee. That's right, buy me a coffee. You can definitely buy me a coffee. All that information is down below. It's been a while since I posted anything, so for those of you that are paying attention on YouTube, there's the situation with Rocco Fowler. Just go into the playlist on YouTube and you'll see it. For those of you that are on Out of Mind and on Rumble, who is Rocco Fowler? Well, Rocco Fowler is this individual who says that he was part of the Montauk thing. Now, the kid is like, what, 33, 34 years old, something like that, And I understand the whole thing of the Montauk. I understand what people are saying, that, the chair, the original chair was replaced by a newer, more high-tech chair, so they're able to pull kids from different timelines and what have you. I get that. I'm not knocking the Montauk thing. The main thing that happened 2 years ago, Mr. Rocco Fowler says some unscrupulous things. I believe that's the right word to use. Unscrupulous. He said some racial things. He said he used the N-word and what have you. So this video is not about the Rocco thing, okay? This is just kind of an intro. This is an intro of and I'm working on a lot of different things, you know, in my own personal life. I'm working on a lot of different things. You know, health stuff, spiritual, religious stuff. I mean, I'm working on a ton of stuff. And excuse me. And and as you know, when I do these blogs, I don't necessarily I never have a format unless it's something that I have to write a format for, you know. And I talk from I talk from the heart. I talk from the heart. I talk from you know, from what's really inside. You know, I give my honest opinion on everything, and this video is no different. This video is no different. So for those of you that have been watching, me, you know, you know, from time to time I'll analyze something. Not always, but like, you know, every like probably 6 months or something. I don't know. You know, um, whether I'm analyzing like I analyzed the show Manifest, right? You know, and I gave my honest opinions on it. I analyzed uh, certain things with certain individuals in the ufology community and all that. You know, from my own personal opinion and all of that. So, uh, for those of you that have been paying attention, Will Smith, yes, that Will Smith slapped the hell out slap the hell when I do it that way. Slap the hell out of Chris Rock, and in some of the conversations that I'm privy to, and you know, and one thing is that when it comes to conversations, I don't give any you know, if I do talk about the conversations, I don't give details. I might just kind of give you a something generic to, you know, type of thing. I don't, you know, nobody's secrets is nobody's business, you know. um I don't give out any names. I don't, you know, none of that stuff, right? But in this conversation, and that's if I do talk about certain things, you know. But in this one conversation that I'm privy to, we were talking about the situation with the Will Smith and Chris Rock thing, and I agree. I agree with with the sentiment of this was fake. This is some fake BS. You know, this is some they're like they're using this to try to cover something up. What they're trying to cover up, who knows? There's so many things that's happening in this world that you know, the mainstream media and Hollywood and whoever, they're trying to cover up. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that we have to we have to realize. You know, when certain things happen in Hollywood and whatever, it's you can't take it at face value and be like, oh my gosh, Will was really ticked off at, you know, Chris Rock because he made the joke about Jada or what. No, it's none of that. So I'm gonna do a share screen to my video editor. Okay, I'm doing a share screen to my video editor, and I want y'all to see this. Okay, I want y'all to see this, and let me see if I can. Let me see. Where's the thingy here? See if I can make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at the video altogether. Okay, it's kind of blurry because I kind of blurred things out so I don't get in trouble with YouTube or whatever. But let's take a look at this video.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Uh-oh. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me. Wow, dude. It was a G.I. Jane joke. I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was the greatest night in the history of television. Okay. Okay.
All right, so as you saw that, okay, Will Smith smacked him. He slapped him. Okay. Now you gotta now. I'm trying to see this from like 2 or 3 different points of views. Okay, from the casual view, the view of the casual viewer, right? You know, the point of view of the casual like viewer that really doesn't see award shows and stuff like that, because personally I don't watch award shows. I'm gonna be real on this. Also because of my experience in martial arts, amateur wrestling, some boxing, you know, from you know, and as many fights as I've been in when I was younger, I'm going to try to give that point of view of let's say a fighter, I guess, you know, like I'm not a pro fighter by any means, but I do have experience in those in like I said, in boxing and amateur wrestling and martial arts and what have you. And then also because of my experience in professional wrestling, and I've done some fight choreography for you know, like student films that are showed in classes and stuff like that. I'm gonna give you that perspective of, let's say, a choreographed type thing. You know, I'm trying to give you as many perspectives as I can, but mainly from those 3. Okay. As a casual viewer, okay, let's just go. Let's go to what started the whole thing. Okay.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it.
Okay, so you know, it's for those of you who don't know, Jada Pinkett Smith, I guess she has alopecia. That's what's being said, right? She has alopecia. You know, so for those of you that don't know about alopecia, it's pretty much where you're losing your hair, you know, it's patchy or something. So many women and men with alopecia, they just shave their head bald. Now I've on Facebook, I've heard and seen some like really crazy jokes on, well, you know, she was promoting all this hair growth stuff and whatever, and now she has alopecia. What happens to the hair growth? So, you know, stuff like that. You know, people are just like commenting on everything. But I think the joke. Within Chris Rock, and that he can't wait to see her in G.I. Jane 2. You know, it wasn't a, in my opinion, as a casual viewer, it wasn't a setup for an argument. It wasn't a setup for, hey, I'm gonna make fun of Jada Pinkett Smith because she has alopecia. You know, it's as a casual viewer. I mean, as a casual viewer, you know, you ask the question, okay, you know, was it a funny joke? Yes and no. Yes and no. Um, Especially with the fact that Jada Pinkett Smith has had a really good history of playing these badass women, right? And in her own personal life, she's a badass woman, you know. Um, if, at least what we know publicly, other than certain things that she's done, I guess. But the fact that, you know, she's played these badass women on in movies and some television, you know, whether it was Niobe in the Matrix movie series, or you know, or you know, just anything, you know. I think she was in Set It Off, right? But anyway, so it was just one of those things where you like if they did a GI Jane 2, you would expect Jada Pinkett Smith to take that role. It wouldn't, you know, it would be completely feasible to have her and in that role because of all the badass women that she's played in her movie career, and the fact that she's bald, you know, it's kind of like it was a clever joke of, hey, look, you know, of am I, you know, again, as a casual viewer, um, it was a clever joke, as in saying, hey, look, you know, hey, look, you play, you know, you played these badass women before. Now you're bald. I can't wait to see you in GI Jane too, because I know you do really good too. You know, you're a good bald. Da, 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 you know, like anybody remembers GI Jane? I think it was Demi Moore, who, you know. But it's again, it's just it was a, you know, as a casual viewer, you think of that as a good as a good clever joke. You know, it's not, and again, it's not to make fun of, you know, Jada's situation. It's just like, shit, girl, I'm sorry you're going. It's kind of like saying, shit, girl, I'm sorry you're going through that, but hey, I can't wait to see you in GI Jane. You know, you know, anybody that knows any, you know, it's like, you know, it's a way that a friend would joke around with a friend. You know, and you know, and I don't know if Chris Rock and Will and Jada are all friends. You know, I really don't know. I don't pay attention, but you know, one would think that in Hollywood, you know, some kind of camaraderie with, especially with you know, that's the one thing about comedians, is that comedians make fun of everyone and everything. That's the beautiful thing about comedy, is that it's an even playing field where anybody can be made fun of, you know. And so it's kind of like, even if you feel bad about a certain situation, you just kind of joke around about it, as you know, just to get it out there, you know. Hey, look. So as a casual viewer, and someone who loves to do comedy videos, you know, especially my other channel, and what have you, there wasn't anything necessarily wrong with it. Now again, you know, as a casual viewer, another type of casual viewer who's kind of sensitive and whatever, they probably thinking to themselves, hey man, that was a bad joke, you know, you shouldn't have said that, what have you know. And the fact that Will smacked you around, it was definitely called for, you know. So it depends on what side of things you're at. Now, as someone who's had experience in the pro wrestling world, and someone who's had experience in kind of the choreography side of things, like in movies and what have you, this would be a setup. This would be the setup of where a feud would start. Okay, this would be the setup. You know, like in professional wrestling. In professional wrestling, you have a wrestler, they do a promo. Anytime they're talking on the mic, they're doing a promo. So let's say, so let's say this was professional wrestling. Okay, this was professional wrestling. You got Chris Rock. He's doing a promo. Okay, he's on the mic. He's doing his jokes and whatever. He could be like The Rock from, pro wrestling is The Rock, right? So he's doing a promo and he makes a joke. He makes an off-color joke. Okay, and in professional wrestling, the way it would be set up is that if the joke was against one person, especially if it was towards somebody's wife, and the other person, and the husband is also a wrestler. So okay, again, let's use professional, because I'm using that analogy, right? In professional wrestling, you have The Rock. He's doing a promo, and then he makes a joke against Stephanie McMahon, and then Triple H gets pissed off, walks out, slaps The Rock, and like, how dare you talk about my wife, you piece of shit. Like, so this is the setup. This is that same setup, right? So you have Chris Rock who's doing his promo, he's doing his shtick. He makes an off-color joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, and now Will Smith has to defend the honor of his wife. All right, but I want you to pay attention to something. Okay, just pay attention here. Okay, so I'm gonna throughout this whole thing. Okay, throughout this whole thing, Will Smith is laughing his ass off. The only one that's not laughing, and she's kind of like, oh my, did he really just say that, is Jada Pinkett. And it's kind of like she looks over to Will, sees him laughing, and she's like, damn, shit. But he's not supposed to be laughing at this point. He's fucking it up. Like, that's the kind of look that she has on her face. Like, he's not, because imagine in professional wrestling, right? If you have the Rock in the ring and he's saying whatever, then he says whatever he wants about Stephanie McMahon, and then of course, and then Triple H is laughing his ass off. And Stephanie will look at him kind of like, you're not supposed to be laughing, you stupid fuck. You're supposed to be getting mad. You're supposed to be getting mad. I'm supposed to, remember, in professional wrestling, it's about suspending the disbelief. Having the suspension of disbelief. So, in this setup, and the point of view of professional wrestling, Will is not keeping that suspension of disbelief. He's just laughing along, whatever. Jada's the only one that's kind of like, he's fucking it up. Like, you really take a look at her face, so. And I guess whoever, the director, the technical director, the person who's telling the cameraman, and doing the switching on the switchboard and all that, I guess they noticed that, because they quickly go back to Chris Rock. And I think it was at this point where the cue was given that the camera's no longer on them, and then Jada goes to Will, hey, you fucked up or something, you were supposed to get mad or whatever. But it was also another cue for Will Smith to go to Chris Rock and smack him.
That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Uh-oh.
Okay, now, in again, in a setup, let's say a professional wrestling setup, in a professional wrestling setup, this would be where Chris Rock would be ready to for a fight. But again, this is comedy, this is movies and whatever. It's a different playing field, so you got to think differently. But you know, Chris Rock being the comedian that he is, you know, he sees Will Smith standing up. He's uh-oh. Now, you know, it's supposed to give the illusion of maybe Will Smith is just gonna go out there and give him a hug and or whatever, or you know, it's kind of like two buddies, you know, and here in two buddies, they're just gonna do whatever, and now Will Smith is gonna, you know, is gonna go out there and talk some smack back to him or whatever. I mean, I've seen it done before with Miss David Mann and a couple of comedians where they're just making fun of each other back and forth, you know, on in an award show. And so this is kind of like the in movie thing in the movies where they would have, okay, you know, I'm gonna go up there, I'm gonna talk some smack too. No, here you go. He's walking. Now, he's walking calmly. Now, in a real fight, if you know, if a man was going to just really smack the hell out of somebody or punch him, in reality, he's gonna punch him, not smack him. Okay. In a real fight, and I've done this before, in the past, you know, where somebody's just whatever, and I just walk up to them and then I'll punch them. I didn't smack him. I just punched him. So he's kind of doing that same walk of, you know, he's walking with a purpose, but he's not showing that he's gonna do something stupid, you know, or that he's gonna, well, not in the sense, but he's not giving away his plan with the walk. In professional wrestling, some, you know, that does happen as well, as in where when somebody walks up to somebody, is, you know, you don't give away your plan, you know, you just look them straight in the eye and be, you know, and nobody's gonna know if it's just gonna be a face off between the two opponents, or if it's gonna be a blown out fight. Okay. Okay, so one of the things that I noticed was that, okay, the thud came before the slap. Okay, let's go back. Okay, all right. If you really pay attention, the thud came before the slap. Okay, and in professional wrestling, I'm not going to give away too many secrets, but there's a way to punch or kick somebody and then also let the sound go out. Sometimes in wrestling, you know, now this one's out there on YouTube everywhere. Sometimes, you know, somebody will slap a leg, but, you know, or whatever, but it's like, but there's like the sound effect. And if you notice, Will Smith, as he's going like this, as he's going to slap Chris Rock, his hand is up to his chest. Okay, his hand is up to his chest, so that only tells me that he must be mic'd, or because sometimes these mics, they're really, really good that they can hear. You know, they were only about maybe 2 feet away from each other. That when Will Smith, that thud came through Chris's mic. But either way, you know, he does this whole thing, you know, like, and you hear that thud, and then you see the hand going across Chris's face. Okay. Now you have to remember some things. Is that, number one, Will Smith he you know he's what the producer of the producer, executive producer, whatever, of Cobra Kai. Okay. Uh, he's also, how many fight scenes has he's been in the different movies that so he has training in stunt fighting. Okay. Um, a lot of stunt fighting nowadays, it goes through the same process as professional wrestling, because a lot of professional wrestlers become stunt fight coordinators. Okay, back in the day, it used to be where it was all camera angles. So stunt fights, it was all based on camera angles. But a lot of professional wrestlers who were retiring, and whether they were big names or not, who were retiring and becoming stunt coordinators. There was a lot of stunt coordinators who had experience in professional wrestling, so they would know. They would know how to do certain things, to make it look really good on camera, no matter what the angle was. Okay, so as many movies as he's been in where he's had fight scenes, he's learned a trick or two. Okay, one of the tricks is again, I'm so close to the mic, but anyway, so it's like, if you notice, it goes like that. Um, so he probably had a mic on him as well. Okay, so as well as you look at his stance. Okay, look at his stance. Okay, if you were going, anybody that's been in a real fight, um, that you would your fight stance. Okay, your fight stance. Whether you're gonna go and smack somebody, or punch somebody, you always, you always square up. You always square up, and you get into a fight stance. Okay, it's like you're walking, and then within your last step, that's how you get into your fight stance. And bam, over here, what happened is that he walks, and he's not in a fight stance. He's just, in a regular standing position, and then he hits some, he slaps him, and you see, and it's you can tell he's kind of like in a weird position, because he's not in a fight stance. He's just in a weird position, but it helps him so he can go turn around. You see you see right there where now he turns to his side, kind of like, like normally you're not gonna go pow, and then in superheroes, no, this was just smack, and then to the side, superheroes, pose, I guess. And then he walks out, and then he walks, and then of course, you got Chris Rock, and you got Chris Rock, who he does, he jokes about it. Okay, now a lot of people, they would say, well, if it was me, if this was really legit and it was me, I would have smacked them back and whatever. But Chris Rock has said it many times, on different interviews, and in some comedy specials, whatever. He's not a fighter. He's, it's, so the way he kind of handled the situation and the reaction is something that he would, I guess, do anyway. But in our reality, it's kind of like, even somebody who wasn't, going to just smack Will Smith back or whatever, he would have. I'm thinking it's like the reaction would be way different. Not so much in the making a joke out of it. Wow, wow, I just got smacked the shit out of whatever. No, it's just he would have, naturally have a different reaction of, I can't believe he smacked me, and he, whether he was, gonna walk away or not or whatever. A lot of people are saying that no, that's just his professionalism. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Okay, but in this situation, as far as coming from the Will Smith aggressor side, it's kind of like, anybody that's been in professional wrestling, anybody that's done any kind of fight choreography or whatever, if you're seeing it from that point of view, you're gonna be like, oh shit, yeah, Sway makes a good point. They might agree, or they might agree with me on some things and disagree on other things, but you'll see that you can see that compared to the way somebody would do something in a real fight, or really, or in a real smack type situation, like in something like this, it would be done differently than the way it was. It's it goes by experience and knowledge of how things really are. But altogether, let's keep on going.
Just smack the shit out of me.
He just takes, oh my god, he smacked the shit out of me. Oh my god, again, that's not a natural reaction of, like, you're just gonna make a big joke out of it in public. You know what I mean? Unless he had somebody in his ear and be like, hey, look, we'll take care of it. Well, somebody in his ear, hey, we'll take care of it. We'll get security. Just keep on going. Don't worry about it. But again, because of just the way it seemed to set up. To me, it seemed to set up based on my experiences in the fields that I'm experienced in. Okay.
Wow, dude. It was a G.I. Jane joke. I'm going to, okay?
Okay, and this last part right there, it's is interesting. It's interesting because somebody could say that if you've seen Will Smith and his acting, if you remember the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, when he was teaching Ashley how to fight.
You gotta act like you got this tick, right? Like the army did this experiment on you, right? That just went terribly wrong. You be like, back up! Mind your business, that's all. Mind your business.
That same tone of voice when he was doing it just for comedy, it was like that same anger that he had in that same tone when he was saying, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Like, you can if you can go back and forth between the scene on First Prince and this thing right here, and if you really watch his movies, especially when he's really mad in his movies, it's like, it's that same tone of voice of, I'm pissed off, like that same tone of voice. But based on his movies, based on his movies, and so it's kind of like he's using his acting pissed off, or his acting voice, of being pissed off. That's what it sounds like to me. And again, it goes back to just the pro wrestling thing, like you had the setup with the promo, and then you have, here comes the husband to save the day, smack, and It's like if Chris Rock was Vince McMahon, saying a promo that he said something about Stephanie. Now here comes Triple H, no, I'm playing the game. Then he smacks Vince, and then Vince is like, he cracks a joke. He cracks a joke of, well, that was unexpected, or type of thing, right? That he would crack a joke. Well, that was unexpected. And then here we go with Triple H. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. So on a pro wrestling aspect, using that, as an analogy, as a way of thinking of the way this is, to me, this is just all set up. This is a setup, period. This is a setup, period. This is, it's too good. It's too good to be real. It's too good to be real that Chris Rock is just gonna be like, well, back to the show. Like, no. It's one of those. It's like when Kanye West, when Kanye West interrupted, who was it, Taylor Swift, right? And it's like she was in shock. She's like, oh, what do I fucking do? What do I fucking do? What do I do? What, it's like, that was a real reaction. That was a real reaction of, what do I fucking do? What do I fucking do? What do I fucking do? Okay? But this is just, it's way too perfect of, well, I just got smacked the shit by freaking Will Smith. Like, it's too perfect. And nobody's that professional. Nobody's that professional to do something like that. This is a setup. This is definitely a setup. At every point. At every point. So, that's my view on it. That's my take on it. Hey, let me know. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. All right? Until next time, remember, I'm Sway. I love you all. Peace.